fight the concrete as a human, you lose. And I lost. So I want to welcome you here to, this is our third meeting of the Rockdale County Think Tank. We have the meetings every Saturday, once a month, the third Saturday of the month, from 2 to 4 here. And this is an evolving organization. If you look up kind of the definition of a think tank, and some of you have heard me say this before, you know, there are two major characteristics. One, you conduct research. In our case, we're conducting research on Rockdale County issues. And second, then you perhaps advocate for issues. They could be political, economic, social, whatever. What we're really about, I would say, is an effort to make Rockdale County a better place for all of us. We're not about the Republican Party. We're not about the Democratic Party. We're not about blacks, whites, Asians, whoever. We're about making this a better county. Instead of putting people into various camps, we're not here to do that. We're here to try to bring people together and to do things in a better way. We all know areas of improvement in Rockdale County, and we're trying to work on those. Some of us have been quite active in terms of going to meetings, voicing our opinions and stuff. I was in the paper just the other day for comment. You know, there's a lot of work to do, and we hope that some of you will also help us and join in being more active and more involved and letting us all know what's going on in this county and how we can make it a better place. And so that's why we're here today. Now, you know, there's some concern that we seem to be focusing on political things. Well, this is the political season. And so part of being an informed group is knowing about our candidates. A couple years ago, my wife and I did voter registration, and the biggest question we got from all the people was, well, how do I find out about candidates? A lot of people don't know about the candidates. And in my opinion, an uninformed electorate is not going to serve us very well. So last meeting we had some of the judge candidates there, and that was very, very informative and interesting. Today we have some of our post-1 commissioner candidates, and we're going to give them some time to tell us about what they believe in, and then we're going to open up the floor, and you're going to be able to ask whatever questions you would like of any or all of them. So with that, I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Josie Dean, who is our leader and founder of this organization.
How y'all doing? I just want to thank y'all for coming, and we're just going to go in word of prayer. Father God, we just thank you for whoever God that you serve. I serve a God that created the heaven and earth, and Jesus Christ, that's the one I serve. So whoever you serve, you pray to whoever you believe. But Lord, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for unity. We thank you for strength. We thank you for bringing this community together, Father God, on one accord. That is to make sure your people are doing right, God. And that's why we got these forms. That's why we found this, to make sure we come together as helpful citizens, not to bash nobody or nothing, God. We're coming together to get all this stuff gathered together with thoughts and ideas that we can come on one accord, and we can do what's best for everybody in the county, not just one, like he was saying. This is something we want to do, and we just thinking, put you first. You said if we put you first, and everything's going to be all right. And we thank you, we praise you, we thank you for the people coming, we thank you for the people who wanted to come and couldn't come. So we thank you right now. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. And the introductions, y'all can introduce yourself, Tom. Nathan had somewhere to go. He had a previous engagement, but he had already told me that, but I didn't want to not put his name on him in case he didn't come, but he did call and let me know he wasn't going to be here. You can introduce yourself.
Sorry.
How
much time do you want to give each one?
They just going to do 5 minutes introduction. That'll give us time enough because we're going to talk about transportation. We're going to get some time in after they get to deal with transportation and what we think.
We kick it off here?
My name is Jerry Shepard. I'm delighted to be here.
Talk up and stand up. Please.
Oh, I'll be more than happy to do that. I'm preaching now, so you told me to stand up. My name is Jerry Shepard. I'm delighted to be here today. I want to thank Ms. Dean for inviting me. And hopefully that we'll be able to find out a little bit more about what my platform is. And it's really easy. It's just a piece of the pie. My theme, my platform is basically standing on public safety, infrastructure. It stands for economic development. And then the fourth thing on the end is like beautification, which is I'm really passionate about. So the citizens that I've encountered so far in the county, they told me overwhelmingly that they want a breath of fresh air. Don't you notice in the air right now that a honeysuckle smells good? And they want someone that's going to be refreshing. They want someone that can give the county's business undivided attention, that the attention is not placed on an individual, but the business of the county is put on the people and the business of the county as a whole. So I look for your vote, I ask for your vote, and I appreciate being here. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Sam Smiley. Of course, I am also running for the Post 1 Commission seat. The parts of my platform are going to be very similar to Mr. Shepard's. First and foremost, it's all about financial responsibility. Over the last 3 years, we have seen increases in our millage rate from both the school system as well as the county government. Just this past year, the city also had a very, very small increase, but overall the city's done really well over the last couple of years. But like I said, that's going to be a big issue because what I've seen, and I've been sitting in these meetings of the Board of Commissioners for the last 3 years. I've been watching the proceedings of this current board. I've been seeing what they voted on. I've been seeing what expenses they added to this our current system. And we have to have somebody there that's going to come in and look at this and say, we don't need this person, or we don't need to be doing this service. Things like this. We've got to find a way to lessen the burden on the taxpayer. Because that's where the money's coming from. I think all of us in here are probably homeowners. We're all paying property taxes. While we're seeing our property values go down, our property taxes are going up. So these are some of the things that I'm going to talk about. Number two, and these are in no particular order, is public safety. By all means, the public safety is the most important thing that Rockdale County has. We have to make sure that our sheriff's department and our fire department have exactly what they need to make sure that we as residents are protected here. So that is by far one of the biggest things on my agenda. The third thing I'm going to talk a lot about, and you'll hear me talk a lot about this in this campaign, and that is quality of life. There are certain things that you can do that aren't going to cost you a lot of money that can bring quality of life to this community. And what I mean by quality of life, these are the type of residents that we want that don't mind paying taxes for these amenities. Last year, Commissioner Nesbitt brought up a dog park for the resident to go into our park system. This is not a bad idea. The problem with Commissioner Nesbitt's plan was that it was $300,000. We can do it for a whole lot less money. Of course, this is one of those amenities that we could probably get by with doing $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 for, and it's going to offer a quality service to the residents of the community. Okay, one of the other things that I've been approached about, and makes a lot of sense, is use of multi-use trails, whether it be walking trails, bicycle trails, walking, whatever, it doesn't matter. Of course, one of the things that the cyclists in the community are going to talk about is using cycles for transportation, not just recreation. Okay, you can look at the city government. They've gone a long way to actually add some what they call sharrows, and you see these all up and down Millstead, Main Street, Green Street, and these sharrows, of course, are bike friendly, showing that the cyclists are likely to be there. Again, this is a quality of life issue that we can add to our transportation plan for little or nothing to that plan. Okay, so those are the three things you're going to hear me talk a lot about. I've got push cards with some other things on it, but those are the three big things that we need to work on in this county. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Tom Harrison, and I am also a candidate for Post 1 Commissioner in Rockdale County. I want to thank Josie for putting together these forums. I think it's a great idea to make sure that we get the word out for all of the candidates so we can make sure that we understand what each one of them is about. I look at the think tank objective, and it strikes a strong chord just reading what she's written here. It's to help the community come together and to think of ways to make our county better. Well, I think all of us as candidates believe that and feel that. But it's going to be up to the voters of the county to understand which one of us is better qualified and better focused on what the community is as a whole. My family invested in Rockdale County in the early 50s. I myself moved out here in 1979. Raised a family in the Rockdale County school system. Worked for a long time, 35 years to be exact, in the water and sewer industry. Traveled a great deal. When I realized that traveling was not what I wanted to do anymore, I sold my agency. And right now my wife and I publish the About Conyers magazine. At that point, I was able to give back to the community more than I was when I was traveling so much. Joined the Rotary Club. I got involved strongly with the United Way. And I currently sit on the United Way Advisory Board and have been the campaign chair for many years. And it's given me a sense of what this community is about. It's not like somebody said earlier, it's not about black and white. It's not about what race you are, what creed you are, what religion you are. It's about where you live. And Rockdale County being the second smallest county in the state of Georgia with only one city, it's important that we understand what community means. And community is involving everybody in the direction that we take it. There are some key things that are in forefront of my platform. Having a budget that's fiscally responsible and not fiscally irresponsible. And that's what ours has been in the past few years. We want to bring that quality of life that Sam talked about back. We need to focus on bringing industry in to take the burden of the taxpayers for the residences. We definitely need to make public safety strong in the forefront. And I'm in favor of putting 911 back into the Sheriff's Department. I think that the Fire Department has their own set of agendas, and I think the public safety would be better served with 911 being under the Sheriff's Department. Something that took a long time to get better, 12 years prior to this current administration, a lot of work was done to recreate a better collaboration and a better cooperation with the city of Conyers. Well, in the last 3.5 years, that's disappeared. The cooperation is just not, and the collaboration is just not part of their day-to-day, everyday business. I think that I would like to see a roundtable event once a month where the city councilman and the mayor, the commissioners and the chairman got together around the table and just, if you did nothing but just talk about what's going on in the county, you would have a better understanding of what is needed for the community and what's needed for the citizens to make a better quality of life. A lot of people grew up here and know what is expected of a community, and they stayed here for that reason. People moved here for that reason, and we've got to give them a reason to stay. We're a strong community. We've got a strong heart. And we've got to make sure that everybody understands that if we work together, we can make it happen. I think that another piece that needs to be looked at is some of our ordinances. When I sat on the Planning Commission, I rolled off in July as the chairman of the Planning Commission. Quite often we were visited with changes to the sign ordinance. Well, just recently we had a forum down to the Salem corridor about the sign ordinance. And what I came away with from listening to those people talk was, we can't add to what we've got now because of our infrastructure as far as business in a lot of areas. So let's prop up what we've got. Help the businesses that we have here grow. Sign ordinance, when Marshall and Marvin would talk about it at the planning commissions, I would ask them both, why can't the two of you sit down at the table with your departments and come up with one sign ordinance with both the city of Conyers and Rockdale County at the top of it? That way a business in the city and a business in the county was dealing off the same page. It's not too much to ask, and I think the county is trying to work toward it, but they're still pulling back to the point where it's not a collaborative effort, and we need to see that collaborative effort. I seek your support, and I seek your vote July 31st and in November. Again, my name is Tom Harrison, and I would like to be your next Board of Commissioners, Post 1. Thank you.
You invite us twice?
All right, now read what y'all got. This is a question I want to ask y'all from RCTT about what, one of them is about love, one of them is about family, and what y'all about
Home.
saying love and home. What do you love about the county? What you want, why you want to run? What do you want to about your family that makes you want to run to make sure everything is going right in the family as a whole? This is not your sole faith family. This is your love for your county. This is your love for your family as a county, and this is your home as a county. So those are the questions that I want y'all to now ask and read what it says, and then y'all can answer that for RCTT.
Okay, you want me to go first?
It don't matter whatever.
Plus I'm on the end. It says, the question is, a family is a little world created by love. Well, I was born and raised in Congress. My family.
Speak up here, please.
Okay, we have a lot invested in the county. My wife and I raised our daughters here. They went to high school here. I have my 2 businesses located in the county because I have a lot invested in the county. And when it comes to family, it's also looking out for your neighbor. You know, is that I know the county has grown. You know, the county used to be so small and everybody knew everybody. You go in a store and everybody says, well, who is that? I don't know anybody anymore. Well, the little horn became a big horn in our eyes. And we still have to look out for it. We have to look out, you know, I look out for my neighbors across the street. You know, who's coming down, who's going out. Just making sure that, you know, everything is okay. So that's important, is that we reach out to one another. Like you say, when people say they have friends, they say, well, oh, I have a black friend, I have a white friend. I don't have any of those friends. To me, it's just a friend. I started the school at Rockdale County High School in 1970, and there were over 300 students. And that was the beginning of integration in this county. And you know what? You can ask any of them. All 300 students were friends. We may not have been best friends, but we were friends. We got along with each other. And that's what we have to do, is get along with each other. Everybody has different opinions. And that's what we are, because everybody doesn't like the same thing. That's why there are different colors, different shapes. But we have to show respect to one another. We have to show love to one another. And, you know, again, let me say this, is that, you know, years ago I detected a sin of not racial discrimination, but geographical discrimination. That's a hot button issue. But I have to tell you, it doesn't matter to me if you live on the south side. I got family over there. My grandmother lived over there. I have relatives over there. I have family in the north side of Rockdale. I have friends and family in East Rockdale and in West Rockdale. So I don't plan on doing any favoritism. Post 1 is a position that's in a large position. So I am supposed to be, and I will be, the candidate for every citizen in this county. You should have no problem calling me and asking me a question. I haven't had that problem yet. So again, if God said if you want to be friendly, you need to show yourself friendly first. Amen? So anyway, that's what I'm standing on, is that we need family. We need to come together and we need to work out the solutions to make this county. Because, you know, people are watching us. You know, are we going to be a county that's divided, or are we going to be a county that's united? You know, if everything that's going on around us, you know, they're still watching us. So I think, and I'm pretty sure I can bring, you know, togetherness within the county, because people know me. I've been here for a long time, and I'm about stabilization in every area that I've discussed, and some issues I'm going to discuss. So that, Josie, is that, you know, I think you have to show that, you know, everybody is your neighbor. And they are my neighbors. So it doesn't matter what side of town you live on, what color you are, what kind of house you live in. I always treat people as equal. My mother always told me as an early child, treat people the way you want to be treated. I remember as a little child in church, there was someone going, you know how kids are in church, and I got to laughing and sniggering. She comes back there, she says, what are you laughing at? I said, so she picked me as hard as she could. She said, did you like that? I said, no ma'am. So I don't judge anybody hard after that. I can tell you what, because if she doesn't pinch me, you will pinch me if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. And that's representing every citizen and respecting every citizen in this county.
Jerry, I'm going to have to start going in front of you.
I thought I slept a little bit.
Mine says, love sees with the heart and thinks with the soul. One of the things I want to talk just a little bit about, of course, I too am a longtime resident of this community. I've been a resident of Rockdale County since 1994. Prior to that, for the previous 18 years, I was a resident of Newton County. My mother, who sits right here in the second row up here, she and my father moved to Newton County in 1980. I was a junior in high school, and I graduated from Newton County High School in '82. And one of the things, since I've moved here, I have gotten involved in the community. One of the things I have done is I've started a business in Rockdale County. And I do a lot of computer work for local and businesses here in Rockdale, as well as Atlanta and the metro counties. So I've been involved in the Chamber of Commerce. I've seen the heart of this community, so to speak. And I've worked within it for a very long time. That was 1998 when I first started my own business. So I got to meet a lot of the community within the business community from that end. For the last 4 years, of course, one of the things that I've seen is the heart of the county itself. Starting in 2008, I started attending county commissioner meetings. And one of the things that I started doing when I attended those meetings, I've watched these county commissioners, I've watched the decisions they've made. When they've made a decision I didn't think was favorable to the community, I stood up and said something about it. When they did something that was good for the community, I also patted them on the back and said, you did a good job of that. But these are the things that I have seen within my time here in Rockdale County, and I actually have put a lot of my heart into this community as well for that very reason. Thank you.
I think I got the best one of all. It's called home. May our home be warm and our friends be many. I think that says a lot for what my campaign will be all about. And if elected, my tenure on the commission would be about, is making our home, making our county warm, and our friends, being our citizens, feel welcome and feel like they've got something to be proud of within this county. So many people have moved away for various reasons. Some for the wrong reason. Some people, I've heard people say they would move now if the economy was better. Well, I say no, don't leave. We have got the best of all worlds in this county. We've got the rural connection, the pastoral sections of our county are beautiful. Up in North Rockdale with the horse farms, the monastery, my next door neighbor. Some of the most tranquil areas of the county can be found in just a short drive because we are the second smallest county in the state. And I think that we get misdirected at times when you get into the politics of what people want to do and trying to, constitute change. It's not necessarily making the change is what it's all about. It's taking what's here and making it work. And I think that we've got a good solid base within this county to make it work. We've got good people. We've got strong people. We've got 197 churches within this community. And that's a good faith base. And I think that with the right direction, we can turn this county around. The last 3.5 years, we have been misdirected. We have seen personal agendas get in the way of good government. And that's not the way you do it. It should be having an open reception to everybody that can come and speak to the commissioners, can speak to any county employee without being in fear of losing their job. The Rockdale's employees, the county employees, most of them have not had a raise in 4 years, but many of them are still here. But many of them are having to do 2 jobs in order to maintain the lifestyle they have here in Rockdale County. We need to create a system within our budget that is more responsible so that we can work toward getting some of these raises to the good quality people that we have working in this county. I've spent a lot of time recently at the RWR in the Water Authority meetings. When the county bought the water system from the city, back in the early, I guess it was mid-90s or whenever it was they bought it, they inherited a lot of bad pipes. Being in the water industry for 35 years, I know the need and the desire to have good quality water. An old man that I used to work for said, the human body requires a drink of water every day. You're going to have to take it from point A to point B and do it something with it in the middle. Well, getting it in Rockdale County from point A to point B right now has got to be a problem. They've got 2-inch pipes in parts of Old Town that have got a trickle of water about the size of my pinky finger coming out of it. We've got to find a way to address that. And the only way we can do that is to create a fiscally responsible budget that allows the system to get corrected. That's part of my direction, and I look for your vote. Thank you.
Thank y'all. That's the reason why I got this organization started. Because in DeKalb County, I lived there. And I kept fighting them. Stop running and getting all these other counties. Stop running, splitting off. If you got problems everywhere. So you can go build a house wherever, you still gonna have problems. But one thing about Rockdale County, we ain't running. The blacks ain't running, the whites ain't running. And that's why we're sticking together, and we got to fight for what's right for all of us. You know, because we ain't been, God ain't been in no land now. Unless enough of y'all got enough money to go up space. But we got to learn to live together. So why not your property, why not do it right? And make sure if you do Rockdale County right, you ain't got to run nowhere. And Rockdale County is the smallest county in Georgia. Why can't we do something that ain't nobody else never done? Why can't we just say we ain't running? We gonna stand up for what's good for you is good for me. If my dog barks, your dog barks. If my child hurt, your child hurt. You know, we are all the same. You know, and people keep saying, well, this one do this, and I say, well, guess what? The white one done the same thing, the black one done to me, so guess what? What's the difference? People. And that's what I'm trying to get us to understand. We are all basically the same people. You know, so once we fight for what's right for this county and stop running, you know, you might have a bad childhood, you may have, guess what? Now we can change things. You know, you might have done something wrong last year, but guess what? Straighten up your life and do something right this year. So if anybody got any questions that y'all might, even the people that's with them, you might need to ask them some questions that somebody else may ask them that they need to answer now, so when it comes to debate, because we're going to have a debate, we're just doing the ground floor until everybody sign up with their money. And then we're going to go to the debates. I don't want debates right now. I wanted us to come on an even keel to let's join together and see what these men's about, and the best man win.
These are preliminaries, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
We're the newspaper.
Yeah, the real fight. Yeah, the real fight ain't came yet. When the real fight comes, it's coming. We gonna give it to y'all, but not now. But y'all can ask any questions that y'all. You can stand and say your name behind it.
Hey, I'm Linda Scott, and before I forget, so I'm going to go ahead and ask. You know, it used to be where you could call directly to the sheriff's office. Since Nesbitt and Odin got in there, they changed it where everything has to go through the main commissioner's number. You know what I'm saying? And you can't call somebody direct. My phone numbers that I had for like Sheriff Wigington and other people, they're no good anymore. And they've got that horrible music that you have to sit there and listen to. You know, and it's loud. So I would hope y'all would change that back to the way it used to be. You know what I'm talking about when the way the phone system was. Also, I'm a tree hugger, and that's one of my things. Beautification, pick up litter all the time around where I live. I got a little cart, you know, little cart. One can is for recyclables, the other is for trash. I pull it and walk my dogs, go for stick, you know, and it's got a sign on it that says, please don't litter. You know? I mean, what the heck? I'm out there walking my dogs. Why not do that? And if everybody, you know, would do it in their areas, that would help to, you know, keep that.
Well, I would like to address that just a little bit, because I've always felt like, you know, we've had these, quote, pothole patrols, you know, where they would call in and say, you know, I'll get a pothole and, you know, damage my tire or whatnot, you know, you need to go fix this. Well, I think we need a litter patrol. I mean, it sounds silly, but you know, if you had a local number or an email address or something where you could report litter, it might help. You know, keep the departments on top of things.
You know.
Yeah.
But like community service workers, they send them out to the horse park. I had to do community service for something I did with the signs, the real estate signs. I got in trouble, and I said, well, I want to do. I can't afford to pay the fine. I want to do community service. They said, go out to the horse park. I said, I don't live out at the horse park. I live in the city. So they let me go down there to Bond Street, and I went and pick up litter. I do that anyway. You know, so beautiful. You know, it's broken window syndrome. You don't have a beautiful area that invites them. And the sheriff's office, you know, they don't have enough money to pay patrolmen to go, you know. That's one thing I'd like to see the county and the city work together on. And instead of sending everybody out to the horse park, you know, put them in the county and in the city. And also, you know, you were talking about the water. I live right by Vortex Creek, and once in a while, they dump sewage into the creek. You know, we pump water out of that creek. The tributary that runs from Pine Log Park runs right into Vortex, right behind our house. And we put that water on our vegetable plants. You know, and you know, I'd like to see where they don't dump sewage.
Those were accidental dumps, I believe, were they not?
Well, whatever.
Yeah. And those have decreased quite a bit. The Water and Sewer Department has done a good job,
Yeah,
especially the Water
I gotta
Department.
say that.
Especially the Water Department. I spent 3 hours yesterday with Lee Poe, Lane Nash, and Chip Hatcher at the Oklahoma Water Basin Conference. We met down at the Henry County Water Treatment Plant, the Water Treatment Plant. And a lot of things that were talked about there are things that we've got to look at in Rockdale County. And part of those have to do with making sure that we've got good quality people working in the sewer plants and in the water plants. Rockdale County has won the best rated water in the last 2 years. And you don't do that just by, you know, leaning across a broom at the water plant. They've done some good things there. They really have.
I took a tour of that one. Really nice.
Well, there's an interesting thing they do at Henry County. They bottle their own water right there at the plant.
Wow.
And provide it for the for their employees and citizens. I mean, we've got the second of the 2 years running for the water department best water tasting. I told Lee that'd be a great idea, great promotional piece.
Exactly.
Bottle of water.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I brought that up to the commissioners too to make some money. I already brought what you just said, and it had been done, and that's the reason why I brought it to them.
It's a great
But
idea.
we're gonna have to start bringing ideas to them. They're gonna have to take it in order to make us not pay a lot of taxes. So anybody else got a question?
Well, one thing I'll follow up on,
Okay.
something she said, Josie, is that you talked about the phone numbers. You can call directly to the sheriff's department or assessor's office or tax commissioner's office or the courthouse or whatever. Back in 2009, they implemented a new voice over IP phone system. And the numbers totally changed. So if your numbers are out of date, they may go into one point. So what you need to do is you can log on to the internet and go to the county website, go to rockdalecounty.org, and look at they've got the new phone numbers up there. I think all the old numbers were 770, all the new ones are 678, I seem to remember.
They used to print a little phone book too. I don't know if they still do or not. I've got a couple of old ones. Probably cut back on that. But you can get a little phone book for all the county numbers.
I got it right here, all the county numbers.
Well, they had a little small pocket-sized thing for a while. I guess they quit.
But you can get that online.
Well, what we have to do is make sure that the system is efficient. It's not efficient, it's ineffective. So we need to make sure that, it's running efficient and our auto thing goes through everything with fast control. You brought up beautification. Of course, that's my passion. You can't hear me. That's my passion. Is beautification. I am currently serving on the KCRB Beautiful Council, and I just wrote some things down this morning so I can stay on point. Again, I'm passionate about it. The point is that do we want a dirty city? Do we want a dirty county, or do we want a clean county and a clean city? I think the answer to that is yes, we want a clean county. I spent a lot of time just looking at, give an example. Right across from Golden Corral, there was an abandoned gas station. Now, I'm not going to take, this is not a debate, I'm not going to take pot shots at anybody, but it concerns me, and it should concern you. The panel that's here and past commissioners, how can you go by a place that has been turned into a truck stop and there's debris everywhere and you say nothing every day? Well, I'm not going to stand for it. I called the number, and this is what I was told, that the property has been vacated, it's been foreclosed on it, and it was the ownership of a very large bank in Atlanta. So he began to read me the information if someone called questioning why the property wasn't kept up. This is the memo from the executive vice president from the bank. We are not going to clean it up, and we are not going to put up any barriers to stop people from parking. I said, so is that the message that you're giving me? He says, yes. I made one phone call. He had two choices. Either clean it up or go to court. You go up there now, you won't see anything. You see no trash, and you see barriers. One of our biggest employers is right down the street, Stolo Cup. So how could you go out there every day and not say anything? I'm on the job. You want someone that can deliver results? I haven't even been elected yet, and I'm delivering results. So you can get a 5-year-old to come up here and say, we need. But again, what is your action? And I didn't want to get theatrical, but I want to get theatrical. So don't look at this the wrong way. These are my gloves, and they fit. These gloves, ladies and gentlemen,
They're not leather. Leather shrinks.
have been picking up trash for you, for the citizens of this county on Pine Log Road, while you have been asleep. These gloves, these hands have been up on Salem Road picking up trash in neighborhoods on the side of the road. These gloves have been working with recycling programs in Rockdale County. These gloves have dug trenches over on West Avenue and put in park benches where we're trying to make the county as a whole more park friendly. This is what I have been doing. And again, you can give me an Academy Award later. I'm passionate about it. I was coming down 138 one day, and this truck had trash flying off the back. I saw one piece of paper fly. I said, okay, I'll let him slide. And then all of a sudden, I pull up beside the truck, call the phone number, and politely, I just said who I was. And I said, maybe, you want to tell your driver to make sure they tighten the cover on top. Because the sheriff, I work closely with the sheriff in picking up the trash. You notice, for instance, that trash from Pine Log Road all the way to Georgia International Horse Park. That's one of our biggest assets in the county, ladies and gentlemen. And I tell you why. Give me an example. I got this out of the Rockdale News this morning. Avon has a music festival. I am the one that makes sure that the grass is cut and the paper is picked up. No one else is doing that. And I have not been elected yet. Masters brings tourists to Newton and Rockdale County. Why has no one, past, present, wannabes, have addressed this issue? Free outdoor movies at the Georgia Horse Park. When you drive down through there, all the way from Bortus Road, from White Road, all the way to Honey Creek Road, it looks very nice, doesn't it? But I'm not finished. I'm just beginning to work closely in design plans and work out things that can further beautify our county. But again, the big program that we have with the KRCB is to make the park. If you go to Gwinnett County, if you drive all the way down Middle Road, all the way to Grayson, that part of the county is so beautiful because it's park friendly. And I'm working and leading the program right now in the KRCB to put park benches throughout all of Rockdale County to make them pedestrian friendly. You see bike trails right now. We have got to make this area more presentable to make our quality of life not just be stagnant, but we want to increase our quality of life. And so I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that you don't have to pat me on the back today, but when you go into the booth on July 31st, just remember that I am steadfastly and I am making sure that our area is kept up, and you press Jerry Shea. Thank you.
Sam, hold on.
I have a question. Is there a problem with foreclosed commercial properties as well as home?
Yes.
Okay, you're
Right
talking
now-
about that.
Yes, ma'am. Right now, from a residential and commercial standpoint, we do have a problem in Rockdale County, a huge problem. I already talked to the tax commission a couple times about this. We have over 5,000 foreclosures in Rockdale County. That's why you see new construction permits.
Home, just home.
Just homes, and that's not including commercial.
Well, I mean, commercial, I know about the homes.
You know, commercial. Right. Yeah, that's a blight on the city and the county too, on foreclosed homes. When companies foreclose, that means that, hey, we have less income coming, so who's going to make it up? Well, they look to you and I to make up the difference. And there is it's a big burden on us. The property owners shouldn't have to be, and I told them, I said, when I got my property bill back in 2008, you can pull up, so everything's public. I said, look, I am not, me and my wife, want to pay all the taxes in Rockdale County. Our taxes were over $4,000. And I couldn't even get the grass cut. And couldn't get the paper picked up in my area. But again, addressing your question is that, yes, what we need to do, we need to make sure, hopefully, that when when the executives come down 138, that when they bring in executives from out of town, that they were looking at a truck stop and a trash area. So when they make decisions, should we stay in Rockdale or should we move? I hope that when they see that, okay, somebody is taking care of business, and I have not been elected yet. So, as far as commercial properties, yeah. Give an example. When I had my two businesses, my travel business, I used to have a program, an event up at the Quality Suites every year since 1998, 10 years running. I had people coming from as far away as Florida, from Alabama, over 300 people averaging at these events. And I went to the Board of Commissioners back in 2002. And you can look it up and find out who the Board of Commissioners were at that time. Also in 2006, as a business owner, talking about the traffic lights right there that comes across from 138 to Home Depot, coming across to Brewster's. I said, I've got all these people coming into Congress that are spending this money, people staying in hotels, eating in restaurants. My company is spending thousands of dollars to the local economy. And I said, look, can we get some relief with this traffic light? Dead silence. So you know what I did?
State account.
So you know what I did? I didn't shut down my commercial business. I didn't shut down my travel agency. But what I did, I moved it. I was offered generously to move my business, to move that event to either DeKalb County or to Fulton County. I refused to do it. If I wasn't going to have it in Rockdale, I wasn't going to have it at all. But because, to me, that the commissioners refused to listen to a business owner, and I was a business owner bringing in thousands of dollars. They refused to listen to me. And I asked why, and I get no comment. So I just, again, if I was a building, it probably would have been vacated. But since my business is run from home, you know, I just vacated that, having that event every year, which again pumped a lot of money into the local economy, which helped out each and every one of you with your taxes.
Sam, you want to?
Well, I just wanted to follow up on one thing, and I commend Jerry because I know his heart truly is in keeping Rockdale beautiful. The one thing I want to bring out that he illustrated here is that we do have a code enforcement department should be maintaining some of the things that he's actually been taking care of himself. So while I do commend him, because I'm sorry I'm not going to vote for you on July 31st, but I do commend him for his efforts in this community. But the thing is, like I say, we do have a code enforcement department. Last year we spent, I think it was $6,000 or $8,000 to buy them brand new uniforms. We need to get them out doing their job because we all live in subdivisions where we've got a lot of foreclosed homes. Of course, they're bank-owned property, just like Mr. Shepard mentioned. And we need to make sure that these large banks maintain that property or they get fined. It's that simple. So these are some of the things that actually need to take place. We need to have our county employees, especially our code enforcement people, doing their job.
I think, Jerry, you need to remind people what the KCRB stands for. Keep Rockdale Clean and Beautiful.
Rockdale beautiful. Yeah.
And there was back into that also. Last week, or I guess it was last weekend, a lot of you may have been involved in it, or you may have seen a lot of activity. The Chamber of Commerce's Leadership Rockdale classes, 2010 and 11, organized an event that was based upon one done in Henry County a few years back. It was called Hands Across Rockdale. And I was absolutely amazed that 357 people got together in a 4-hour period and did 25 projects all throughout this entire county. And it really warmed my heart and warmed my spirit to know that people can get out and do things like Jerry does. He puts his gloves on and gets out and picks up trash. Well, these 357 community people in this county did that for 4 hours that Saturday. And it's planned to be every year from now on. Henry County has gotten up to over 1,000 people and over 100 projects every year.
I just wanted to mention that we had 7 people from our CTT who participated in that.
A lot of people have. Great event.
We'll look for more opportunities to do that.
It will grow exponentially, I'm very sure.
Yes, it's great.
Each of you have talked about your desire to support law enforcement and first responders. at least one of you has said something about the foreclosure rate, so our tax base is going down. Obviously, our revenues are not what they used to be, and at least one of you has said something about giving our county employees raises. What would you like to do to be able to make all that come together? You got less money coming in, but you're talking about giving people raises. What would you plan to do? What would you like to do?
Take that in order.
When you get in office, sometimes things aren't as they appear from the outside. So
we can all sit up here and say, oh, we give everybody a raise and do this, that, and the other. We're talking out both sides of our hat if we do that without some kind of planning. And part of what's got to happen, besides making the budget system that we have currently a more responsible budget instead of an irresponsible budget, we've got to look at it very strongly in making the changes that'll help facilitate that. And one of the things that will help put more money back into the budget, I think, and make the system work more efficiently is something that Jason and I, he's running for chairman and me running for the BOC, both one, have all indicated that we need to change our form of government. And I think that we need to look at going to a county manager. A county of our size needs to be run like a business. Take away the position, chief of staff, reduce the salary of the chairman, reduce the salary of the commissioners, it's only part-time, and put that money into a quality county manager that knows how to run a good business in a municipal atmosphere. And I think that we will become a more efficient county where we can save money and put things back into the areas of our budget that need to have them put back to. We don't need to spend $5,000 for photographs of our commissioners up around this county. We don't need to spend $4,000 to send them to a convention in Washington, D.C., where we didn't get so much as a book report from them. I mean, nobody knew they went up there, except the ones that were in the know. And so there's just so much that can be done to make our government run more efficiently. And running it like a business is going to be one of the first things.
Well, of course, I agree some with but cutting salary is not going to make a major dent in our income. Right now, I am currently working on a plan to take this county to a particular position as far as the revenue that we lost with the new Walmart that's opening in Newton County. If you recall, chairman of the Newton County Board of Commissioners said they were glad that their new Walmart opened up because they're tired of Rockdale citizens shopping in Congress. Well, I know that the chamber now and some of the commissioners right now have this theme. It says Shop Rockdale. Well, from what I've been told, I haven't been down there yet to see for myself, but I've been told by various sources that there are more Rockdale tags down there than in Newton County tags. So apparently, someone is not getting the message. They're chopping their heads off to spite themselves. Well, we're actually sitting on a gold mine. I do not have all the research finalized on it yet, but I will be in the coming months presenting that proposal to the residents and even to the commissioners. They may not act on it in time before I'm in, but I will. But we're sitting on the gold mine because look at it. We have all this large revenue. Actually, in the second quarter, when Dan Ray gives the results on the income that was brought in, I'd be surprised that it's gone up. I'd be double surprised if it stays even. And I won't be surprised if it went down. And you shouldn't be surprised either, because one of the local newspapers did a survey, and they were asking this question: how many of you shop all the time in Rockdale? Well, I'm very analytical. They didn't do the percentages, but I can, and I did. So I did the percentages. Do you know, and let's take this percentage, out of the poll of almost 200 people, less than 45% said that they shop in Rockdale County all the time. So we're complaining that we have a shortfall, but we're spending our money somewhere else. We have just about every type of
store, that retail store that you would want in Congress? Why are people shopping other places? Number one, infrastructure. People coming from, we like people coming from other counties, say coming from the west, coming east. On Saturdays, Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays, traffic is backed up on I-20. You know why? Because the traffic lights are about a city. Only a few cars, only a few people that could make a difference in our lives with taking their taxable income and being held up on I-20. So when people get frustrated, they're disappointed. And when they're disappointed, they'll just go somewhere else, right? Same thing for people coming across from Brewster's. On Friday, traffic's backed all at the Brewster's, people trying to get over to Home Depot. I broached this question to our engineer, and I tell you, I didn't like the answer because it needs to be some type of even keel. You're going to have to make things convenient and efficient for people to be able to get to shop their money. You don't want to put up barriers, and our barriers right now is our infrastructure.
Yeah, why, when I live off 212, would I not want to go to Newton County, and I am a Rockdale County shopper, rather than going all the way up and across all that traffic across I-20?
Well, I'm going to take that one, Jerry, because I very much agree with Mr. Shepherd. We're talking about economic development here, okay? And it gets back to the three things I talked about when we first got up here. When a business comes in here, they're going to look at a lot of things about a given community. And to answer Judd's question, we've got to improve our economic development and actually increase that commercial and industrial base in our tax guidance. Okay? And what we can do things that will help streamline that for the Economic Development Council and Glenn Sears. Now, one of the things, of course, it gets back to that financial responsibility. If a business is out here shopping for a new location, you know, they're going to look at the tax base. They're going to look at what are the tax rates here in Rockdale County. How is that going to impact my business as well? So this is one of the things. Now, a lot of people don't understand, but when that tax base goes up, guess what? The spending in the county also went up. Because whatever they spend in the county government, they've got to pay for with taxes. It's that simple. It's expenditures and income. So what we have to do, we have to have a responsible expenditures within the county government, which is going to drive that millage rate and the amount of money that we require from the taxpayers down. So what's that going to do to economic development? That's going to improve our tax rate to the businesses. Okay, one of the other things they look heavily at is public safety. Okay, we've got to have an environment here in Rockdale County that is going to be conducive to public safety for these businesses, because somebody's not going to come in here and open up a store of any kind where they've got to put bars on the window to keep people out in the evenings. Okay, and lastly, the third thing that I spoke about earlier was quality of life. These businesses, and of course, they want to bring in and bring jobs to the community. They want to also have their employees live here in this community. And that's going to go back to that quality of life issue that we talked about earlier as well. So these are some of the ways. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you I'm going to lower your taxes, because I don't know what the future holds. So these are some of the things that we do have control of. We do have control over that spending. We can improve our public safety, and we can improve our quality of life to drive toward this and bring that revenue back. So, and to further answer that question, you'll never tell me that I'm going to give the employees a raise the first year I'm in office. They do need a raise certainly in 4 years, but we've got people in this community that have lost their homes. They've lost their jobs. Okay, who's helping them? Okay, and I really do hate to say this, but there are some of our county employees that understand this, that it's a very difficult economy right now, and a lot of them are very thankful to have a job. Thank you.
I'm not sure if it was you, Mr. Smiley, or Mr. Harrison. you said that you wanted to put 911 back up under the sheriff's department. Actually, it's the twofold question. First of all, has it ever been up under the sheriff's department?
Yes. Prior to being changed during this administration.
Okay, and if so, why would you want to put it under the sheriff's department when the police, when they actually talk to the police who enforces the law on the streets?
Well, I think it needs to, it's currently under the fire department, the fire system right now. And that's what it was changed to. It needs to go back under a law enforcement umbrella. That's what my answer is. Because the majority of the calls that come in for 911 are not fire related. They are safety related or police related or something that has to do with crime or a sudden event that the police will be the first responders to. It needs to be under law enforcement as the umbrella.
So would that be police or the sheriff?
Well, it would be the sheriff's department that responds to it in the county, and in conjunction with that for the city police.
911 is a county function. It's not a city function. The city has their own 911 entity. About 88% of the calls that come into E911 over the last 5 years have been for the sheriff's department. And fire and EMS make up that other 11 or 12%. Now, right now, as Mr. Harrison said, the 911 system is lumped in with the fire department, which is under the control of the chairman, Richard Oden. Certainly, and I look at this as well, is who do I want to have control of that 911 system? Do I want to have Richard Oden, who has zero law enforcement or fire experience behind him, or do I want to have somebody with law enforcement and fire experience behind that as well, maintaining that 911 system? Now, given that, we have a very good director of E911 in Bill Cates, very, very knowledgeable man about the 911 system, and he actually makes most of the decisions there. But yes, I will also agree that 911 needs to go under the sheriff's department, not so much because of who controls it, but simply who uses it the most.
Is there an extra step in this because
Not
of this
anymore.
change?
John Neal.
I called 911 and they said, oh, well, let me connect you to Rockdale's 911.
Well, if you're on the borderline of the city and the county, okay, the city police department they do not have policing jurisdiction in the county. A sheriff deputy is a statewide law enforcement officer. He can go anywhere in the state and make an arrest or do his duty, okay? But the city only has jurisdiction within the city. Okay, if I'm out at the horse park and I step out into the county and I make a call to 911, it may go to the city. And they would say, well, I've got to transfer you to 911 in the county.
But the fact that you get it under law enforcement is the key feature. In fact, where most of the calls come from.
Well,
I have a question. Oh, you got to follow.
Excuse me, and I apologize.
No.
I just want to follow up and me saying that the reason why I say that is because I retired out of law enforcement in DeKalb with police and fire experience. And you are absolutely correct. You know, the sheriff does have jurisdiction over the police. And so whoever gets the calls the most, that's who you want. I heard you say earlier, very much concerned about law enforcement, the concerns for the business in the county. No one wants to bring their business. I have property in Rockdale County, and nobody's going to bring their business if the law enforcement is not enforced in this county. So that's my concern, and I concur with what you said.
While we're on the sheriff, I'm not a law enforcement official, but if I'm not mistaken, I stand to be corrected. I think he signed off on that, if I'm not mistaken. No. He did not sign off?
No, he was opposed.
He fought it all the way.
I'm pretty sure he'll probably be brought in to hear when the candidates for the sheriff are brought in, and they can answer that probably a little bit more intelligently. Because I can tell you don't want anybody giving you questions that they're not giving you answers that they're not sure about. Because, I give an analogy like an airplane. You get on an airplane and the captain comes on and he says, oh, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to take off, but I think I know how to fly this plane. So I don't think any of y'all would stay on there. So what you want people that know what they're doing. So That's what I would rely on, because I don't have any expertise in that. But of course, you have to do your homework, so I'll leave that up until law enforcement. But while we're on law enforcement, that is a serious thing to me. Is that I know in 2011, the sheriff brought a plan together where he had some grants to add police officers. And from what I can understand is that it wasn't well received at that moment by any of the people that were on the board of commissioners. Well, I can tell you, I will not rush into anything, nor will I drag my feet. But when the sheriff comes to me, and you know, public safety is important to our quality of life. The sheriff department is there to protect us, protect our homes, protect our lives, protect our family, our children. And the last thing I would do is want to get into an argument with the sheriff about adding someone that we, for the first 4 years ago, we won't be paid for. It wouldn't take me a year or months to say, come back, oh, well, okay, well, you know, it's politically correct now, so I'll go ahead and go with you. That won't come from me. Again, I won't rush into anything, but nor will I drag my feet, because public safety is utmost important. Again, we live in a small town, but we got big city crime. I'll make sure that when the judges come in, that we support the judicial system. I won't get into a fight with the judge that wants to speed up the court process and get into a public fight with him about funds. Well, we want criminals off the streets. We want criminals out of Rockdale. And I'll make sure that whatever tools that the judicial system needs, whatever tools that the sheriff department needs, they will have. And it won't be any question, especially if it's done under budget. And if it's not in the budget, we need to find it.
Okay, Jerry, we're going to move on, all right?
Okay.
I think we have time maybe for two more questions. Mr. Dillard, you have your hand up. Is there something you want to ask?
Yes. The political process is very interesting, as you all know. And we can talk about a lot of grandiose ideas, but we know that everything is pretty much undergirded with the budget. When politicians get in office, you always kind of rate them, or even at the end of the day, you rate them based on what they did when they were in office or while they were in office. With all these, interesting concepts and plans, what would, I guess this question would be directed to either one of you gentlemen, and what would be the thing that you would do in the first 90 days that would allow for the citizens to really be able to appreciate that you're not going to get in the system and then in turn just become another part of the system? Because the smart person knows this, that no matter what you say on this side, once you get on the other side, you may be a different person. So I'm concerned about, this is a nice conversation today. But Jerry, what will you do in the first 90 days if you happen to win the post 1 seat, end up with Richard and Janice in a functioning system that's sometimes dysfunctional and sometimes moving us in the right direction? But what will you do in that first 90 days to make sure that we can say on this side today that we know this is what he's going to do, and this is what we're going to expect in the first 90 days, so that we can ensure ourselves that our time is meaningful here today. And I pose the same question to you, Sam, and of course you, Tom, as well.
The first thing that people get into a new position is that they want a clean house. That really makes everybody uncertain. So the last thing I would go into this is, even if I have some questions about it, is trying to clean house and make people uncomfortable. Because if you were doing something that's inefficient, we need to make sure that you're doing it efficiently. And that's what I would do. I hope that my candidacy, and all due respect, Mr. Courtney, is that you said, if I expect to be your next commission. And again, I won't be rushing in anything, because the last thing you want is somebody rushing to judgment, making bad decisions. On the other hand, I won't be dragging my foot. There are some things that, that need to be looked at, that need to be dealt with probably immediately. I'm pretty sure there'll be lots of resolutions that I have to deal with that probably didn't come in my administration, that'll be coming over from 2011. So we have to look at those and make sure that what I'm doing is doing everything right, again, for the citizens of Rockdale County. And again, I just won't come in then, they call it, we got a hired gun in here now. And I know some people want that. But as I say, just be patient.
Sam, would you like to?
I will be happy to. Of course, one of the things that's going to get back to that first thing that I said that is big on my campaign, and that's that financial responsibility. Now, whether that means actually cleaning house or not, that's up for debate. We don't know what the budget is going to look like in 2013. That budget will come out starting in September of this year. So we have to be able to work smarter as a county. And as Mr. Harrison pointed out, and we've got to work smarter with the city in order to offer the services to our community. So yes, I mean, I'm certainly going to be looking at the budget as it comes out in September. I'm not going to wait until January 1st when I get elected in office. So, but yes, what that means at this point, I think the best thing anybody can do going into a new situation, whether it be a new job or what have you, is pay attention and learn. Not so much go in there like a bull in a china shop. So you've got to sit there and actually take a look and learn what's going on. I've got a little bit of advantage because for the last 3 years I've been sitting in these Board of Commissioner meetings and I have been learning their processes. I've been learning what's important to the community and going from there. So certainly the financial aspect of that, to actually get the tax digest and the county budget under control, is job number one. Thank you.
When I'm elected. It started this year, I realize. I'll reiterate what I said earlier. I'll start the process in trying to make the changes in the county style of government. We need to be more efficient. We all know that. A good business runs on a proper budget, on a balanced budget, on a budget that's fiscally responsible. And a county will be the same way. And I feel strongly that we need to start the process of working toward a county manager style of government. I think that will be a tremendous help in helping us get past the pitfalls of a poor economy and the pitfalls that we've worked our way into because of the real estate demise and whatnot within the county. But I think that's the key thing, is start the process. We can't do it overnight. We realize that. But we need to go to a county manager by reducing the salary of a chairman and doing away, now cleaning house would mean doing away with the chief of staff position. That would be the start to get going toward the county manager. But that's where we need to start.
Well, do you think that the citizens are more concerned with the staffing, or do you think that citizens are more concerned with if it's going to be a strong manager type government, if you will? Do you think they're more concerned with what this type of government will produce? Because coming out of the 2010 elections, the first thing that the Board of Commissioners said they were going to do, and I think everyone really understands this, they were going to revisit all the ordinances to make sure that these ordinances were coming from an antiquated state to a place that were, at least 2010. And just as soon as the spring came, we didn't even get into summer. Just as soon as the conversation began to just dwindle down, everything turned back to business as usual. And I just think that what concerns me as a citizen, and I think what concerns most of the citizens, is the fact that there is a clear understanding, not rhetoric, but clear understanding of what we can expect going into, let's say the 2nd or 3rd week of November after the elections occur, and we have new people sitting in office.
You can't make these changes overnight, and we all know that. We realize that. But the only way for us to change the direction of this horse is to give it the true reins and the true saddle of the wagon, whatever it's going to pull. And the only way to do that is to change the style. You talked about business as usual. Well, the business as usual within the county has not worked. There are lots of counties nationwide that became very efficient in a relatively short period of time by going to the county manager style of government. It's a proven. And the city of Conyers is a classic example. They've got a city manager that runs the day-to-day operations with the guidance of the city council and the mayor. And that's the kind of thing that I think that we need in Rockdale County.
Okay, we're going to move on here. One last question.
Yes.
And I'd ask for short answers, please, because we're going to get kicked out here at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
We have a few more
This is a very brief question. Very brief question. And I wouldn't mind hearing from Jerry and Sam. We know Tom's position on county manager, although I think the idea is disastrous. Okay, and I just want to make that known. The idea of a county manager style is disastrous. That's my view. So Sam and Jerry, I'd love to hear you expound on that, please. And before you expound, Mr. Dillard said that should you become a county commissioner and sit down with Janice and Richard, I think he meant to say sit down with Janice and Brian James. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll put him down as being uncommitted right now. Yeah.
So it be said, so it be written. Insofar as having a county manager versus a CEO, I'm studying that right now. I have really not made up my mind, but I do find it interesting that all of a sudden, now a county manager is needed.
Hello.
1996, 2000, 2004, 1992. That's what we got. Again, I'm not about politics. I'm about doing the right thing, what's best for the citizens of this county, not rhetoric. Anyone that knows me, it doesn't matter what my position is, I'll be the same. What you see in here is what you're going to get when I'm sitting up on the podium at the Board of Commissioners. I'm going to listen to you. It's not that we may have different ideas, but I'm open to listen to what the citizens of this county, what's on their minds and hearts. So.
We want you to speak
Go ahead.
as loud as Oz does.
Well,
those are hard shoes to fill.
No.
Well,
Not with all the BS.
Well, let me say this. Never mind.
He just likes to hear himself talk.
Sam, do you want to respond?
I will respond to that as well. And I've had a lot of people ask me about that, and I'm going to tell this group everything I've told everybody else that asked me about that. There are good and bad with the county manager style of government. There's good and bad with what we have right now. Nobody has been able to convince me why a county manager style of government is going to be better than what we have right now. We talked, of course, one of the arguments I hear, of course, we're going to have to lower the salary of the chairman, but we're going to have to increase the salary of the the county manager. One of the other things I hear a lot of is that we have a more consistent form of government, administration to administration to administration. I don't buy that at all. Because then I use the current administration right now, taking the reins from the previous administration. Do you think this current administration is going to have the same county manager that we did prior to 2009? And the chances are no, they're not. So we really aren't gaining anything by going to that. I have not been convinced of that. I'm not saying I'm just blocking that out. I just have not seen anybody come up to show me this is better and here's why. I just do not buy it. So what we have right now has worked for this county for a long time. Yeah, the chairperson need run day-to-day operation as a whole, but we got to be more diligent about electing quality people into that position to do just that. Okay, so county manager style of government, when somebody convinces me that it's going to be better than what we have right now, I'll listen to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank everybody for coming, but I want to act my hands or however about this transportation, this 1%, this 1 cent.
T-Splosh.
T-Splosh. What do y'all in here right now know about it, and what do you really want it?
No, and I know a lot.
Well, raise
your hands, because that's
as far as who wants it.
Let's say opposed. Raise your hand.
opposed. That's the hottest issue is going to be on that on July. And that's why they're trying to slip their
So we need to go back so we think about it. There's education needs to be here. Some people are very educated about it, some are not.
Yeah, but this is the reason why.
Can they give us some information about it?
Well, that's where we'll go.
That's what we're going to do.
Am I all in favor of getting more information about it?
Excuse me. With all due respect, though, she's assuming that when I raise my hand that I'm totally unfamiliar.
No, I said some of us didn't have our hands raised is because we want more information.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about those who raised their hands.
Oh. Is what I said.
No, the question is, that's the reason why I want those to vote that know. Okay. And then that you know how much that y'all don't know. So that means the reason why we have to educate ourselves on what they're going to do.
I looked online.
Because this thing has been to trick us. And if we as citizens vote against this thing, we'll do something that's been done in history. Because it's not going to benefit us in Rockdale County.
Well, I sat in on a couple of those meetings, and let me just share this with you briefly. I took copious notes, and I will tell you the investment in Rockdale County, we will not get the proper return on our dollar.
And Viola Davis, this is an activist in DeKalb County. This is who I started. The ladies run around with t-shirts who really powerful in DeKalb County. This is Viola. She sits there. She knows all of this different stuff. And I have talked to John Evans already, and DeKalb County is voting against it. And if we all decide as citizens vote against it, because it's not benefiting us, it's benefiting the people who want it done. Because they get a kickback before they even get in there now. That's why a lot of people ain't worried about being chairman or worried about nothing, because they got something else on their mind and they ain't on our mind. That's the reason why I wanted us to,
With all due respect,
yeah.
I honestly think that you need to have a panel to
because
there are some things that are misunderstood.
Yes.
And a lot of people have said a lot of things that are not true.
Yeah.
And so this group
and
needs to be educated so that we can.
And that is the, okay, go ahead.
Point well taken. I can tell you there have been a numerous opportunity to learn about T-Splosh. There have been meetings in Rockdale County. There are website things that you can read, so you can learn about it. But point well taken. We will have that subject at one of our future meetings, and you then can decide for yourself what you think is right and what is wrong. Before we close out here, we do have some folks here that are running for office besides these three able gentlemen here. We have Mr. Courtney Dillard, who is, I believe, running for the 4th Congressional District.
That is correct.
Correct. Welcome, sir. We have Mr. Jason Hill, who's running for chairman of the Board of Commissioners for Rockdale County. Welcome, Jason. We've had, now I want to see if I get it right, Phinia Ateen.
Phinia Ateen, just like the number 10, like the
10,
Chief Magistrate Judge of Rockdale County. Real leadership, real justice.
Thank you.
Great job.
Oh, and of course we have Mr. Brian Jenkins, who is also running for chairman of the Board of Commissioners. Did I miss anybody else?
We got representative for Nesbitt, Miss Efat Walker.
Not running for office.
No, she's standing there for Oz Nesbitt's son, her, and you're for Levitt. Eric Levitt. So he's son, his son. Got Mr. Who else?
Did we miss anybody else?
Yeah, they mentioned me. Thank you very much.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for showing up today. We realize that you have a lot of other things you could be doing on a Saturday afternoon, but that you're obviously interested in making Rockdale County a better place. And we thank you for coming here. And if you believe in what we're doing, please join us. We need more workers in this group. We only have a handful of us doing the bulk of the work, so we need more workers.
Guess what? And the strange thing about the children, them kids ain't missed out on nothing. And I'm going to
All right, John, you're in the union.
I thought there was child.
We're gonna pull this right. Hold on. Well, Diane, you wanna just give us brains.
I dare to say, you will visit or observe another 3 guys on a panel, or women, that are this reputable. Not all of them will be that way, so watch out. Because I don't think you've heard any BS in it.
No. These are the good guys.
We want to thank these 3 gentlemen here. I think we would be well served by any of them to be in any leadership position in Rockdale. Great job.
We want to give y'all some gifts because we believe in giving people just a token of thank you for coming. And thank y'all for believing in us. We're small, but yet and still we be packed out. And this is our 3rd time. And we're going to deal with children later. This only place going to be where you can bring your children so nobody have no excuse. Because if we don't train these kids
That's right.
into meetings, that's why they don't know to meet, because they're not trained. But we have, this is cutting out, we have in DeKalb County, we got awards. We got a day, Joseph Dean Youth Activist. I had 45 kids to graduate and in college. And I had nobody to help me with my kids. None of the political people, none of them gave us support. But with God and my help, we got days, we don't fall for everything. You can put it up on the internet. So that's why I deal with children. These people talk about children, but we work children and we teach children how to be productive citizens. What's your number?
506-225.
Who got 5?
What is the number?
225. 225.
I have it.
Okay, then you're going to give us a number.
So it can get verified on what I say.
You got a number. Read your number.
Thank you.
226.
226.
Oh, y'all
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
This is the winners.
Thank you, George. 204. 204.
Joe.
Here's Joe.
All right, we got one more. We got one more. I have one. Okay.
227. 227.
That's me.
Oh my God.
I want to thank
So thank y'all for having us.
I'll take it on with me.
Make sure y'all tell people about us.
Because I go to the doctor.